Good afternoon, guys. Welcome to today's episode of Market Check, brought to you, of course, by BB. A reminder, as always, there is no second best daily YouTube live stream to talk about these markets. And what a morning to talk about them, right? We got coins popping off left and right here today. And Americans are buying during New York session. This is a pretty notable change in behavior that we're definitely going to talk about later on this show. But before we can do that, guys, of course, you guys know me as Snorlax, also as Tommy. I'm joined by Max, Tucker, and Dr. Will's Outlook. Welcome, guys. Jackus is on vacation right now. I know he's looking forward to cooking y'all up some delicious meals when he gets back. But we've got a great panel for you guys today. And before we can start cooking, before we can start sharing that big, juicy alpha here on Tuesday, I often call it Tuesday in our Discord for very appropriate reasons that I can also touch on later in the show as well, usually centered around mean reversion. But we always appreciate when you guys can smash that like button for us. We don't have to show you commodities on a day where crypto is just mega sending, right? There are so many altcoins that look fantastic. Please don't make us, I'm sorry if you hear a leaf blower in the background, but there are so many altcoins that look fantastic. Please don't make us show you soybeans or lean hog futures. Let us look at the super high action charts today. But yeah, guys, let's get into the charts. Let's get into the market. Obviously, the S&P and Bitcoin are bouncing very strongly off their lows. Today, I like I said, I always call it Tuesday because we always tend to revert whatever the move that we have on Monday is. And for at least Asia session, that was the case. We had, Bitcoin and ETH kind of pulling back after a Monday pump. Today, obviously, as we can see during New York session, the burgers are bidding, and we're seeing a footprint in that regard very similar to last week, where on Tuesday you had ETH drastically outperforming Bitcoin until New York session. And now I'm once again looking at, it seems like Bitcoin is, it seems the burgers are bidding Bitcoin a little bit harder than ETH today. Although I know we're going to talk about ETH, probably debate it a little bit on stream today, the look of ETH Bitcoin dominance, even though I think there are some pretty important differences between the two. Either way, though, guys, we're happy to have you here. Altcoins popping off, obviously. Bitcoin popping off up 5%, ETH up 6%, the S&P up 1%. So things are very green across the board. It's a great day for us to be bringing you guys coverage on all things markets. So, I'll go ahead and open the floor because I'm sure we got a lot to talk about today. Welcome, guys. Hope everybody's having a great Tuesday. What are we seeing?
Max, I want to ask you a personal question. All right.
Of course, Will.
It involves some financial advice. Win low 50s. Win low 50s. I was promised.
I would say probably
waiting.
late 2026 is when we have a chance to visit the low 50s again.
All right. Thank you for that. I'll sit in cash the whole time.
Bro, that's literally what a lot of people are thinking. They're like, oh man, it's going to get dicey out there. I'll just buy later. I don't know, man. I actually believe that there is more risk to the upside right now. Like, there is more risk in missing the rally, truthfully, missing what comes next than there is potentially another big drop. I really believe that. Well, I'm assuming you'd agree with that.
Oh, you better believe that, I think price is going up. Everybody else, they live in Disney, the world of make-believe.
Yeah, man, I think if you're scared about downside, it just shows that you don't know how to handle your drawdown like a man. Really, that's what's coming to the forefront for me is kind of you're exposing yourself as not knowing how to handle your drawdown like a man. That's all there is to it, guys. That's all there is to it. I think Bitcoin looks great here.
We were talking about it yesterday, Tucker. Remember, we said if you broke above 65, in 66, you're probably looking to go higher. And we're already seeing first indications of that this, this bull flag potentially here on the daily is probably going to play much higher than what a lot of people are anticipating. I would expect And we talked about this a little bit. I won't give all the alpha, but we talked about this in the Discord this morning. And, I would expect we'll probably see, at minimum, a revisit of 71.72 before we even see any type of high time frame resistance whatsoever here at the current price range. And what I would urge people to do is, again, see that middle range there that you've identified there, Hagrid, with that bull flag. Um, that is the range where I would be looking for support, even if you were looking to reject at 71.72. So at this point, like, even if you're expecting not necessarily a breakout here, I would
Yeah.
expect price to jump, and then even if it were to reject at 71.72, it would still not come back down to the 50s range like a lot of people are anticipating. We'd still stay within the low 60 range, even on a rejection
Oh,
and
you're
move back
saying
down.
you're saying this.
Yeah, even if things were to
Yeah,
get bearish, that's what I would see. Exactly.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I mean, this has been a really clean range, flag, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I mean, like we've been saying, right? This little consolidation right here remains key to be flipped, whether or not you're gonna move to the top or just kind of continue chopping here. I mean, ideally, right? We've got a week left in this month, right? We got what exactly? Yeah, 7 days. Ideally, you just kind of keep chopping, honestly, right? Like Max, you were talking about that this morning, like let's close April like this, right? That's fine, that's fine. That's not like a terrible candle by any means, right? Look at that wick. Let's have a red April and then just, send it in May.
Well, what do people do if that turns into a hammer, right? An upswing hammer on the higher time frames. Like that would be a monstrous move that we're probably going to see directly after the hammer. And I think that's what, like, this. If the wick were to the upside, I would say we're probably looking at a downtrend, right, on the high time frames. But because the wick is from the bottom side, it's making me think more and more that this is kind of a pause before a continuation on the high time frame. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on that, but that's what I'm thinking here.
Yeah, I mean, we could definitely hesitate here and hover a little bit and whatnot, but yeah, I mean, I think it's bullish, right?
Yeah, it tends to be when you look at these, it tends to be that if price is going to reject, the wick is on top, it's not on bottom. And as we can see here on the HTF monthly here, the wick is on bottom. So, a swing higher makes more sense from like a likeliness scenario than a swing lower. If you were to swing lower on the HTF, I would say like it would probably play out something like a bull flag. It would be a slow drop into a range and then it would be a breakout. But I highly doubt that this is going to turn into that, because I would expect something like you can look at both candles on previous cycle. You have those wick highs there, kind of indicating that you're topping, and then you roll, right? We don't have that on the current candle here. We have basically a body candle. What's that?
Hmm?
Oh, I thought somebody talked. Sorry.
Oh, somebody did talk. Wait, somebody say something again.
Hello.
Bitcoin's going to 100K.
Okay. I don't know what happened. Somebody was like super loud for a minute.
Yeah, that's what I was like, what?
Yeah.
Will's just screaming bullishness into the microphone. Man. He can't help it.
I mean, like, I'm not even trying to be facetious this morning. I'm not trying to be smug. I'm not trying to be, overly exuberant about what I'm saying.
I don't believe you.
I'm I'm being as calm as I can with the discussion right at hand, and what we're seeing currently in the chart. And I think, like, I mean, I'm excited. Granted, maybe if you hear tears, it's tears of joy. I would say that. Um, People should be happy to be invested right now. They should be absolutely be happy. They should be understanding, hey, I'm about to make money the easy way, which the easy way is always when you're moving up. And You know, the markets are not in it as detrimental position as a lot of people believe they are. And the war and all these other things that people keep on trying to utilize, just like banks. You guys remember banks at the lows around the 20K range,
Yeah.
25K range, where people were talking about banks?
Yeah.
That didn't play out too well because the news, by the time it hits your ears, it's already been capitulated, and the price has already shifted by the time it hits your ears. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. Like Wall Street are a bunch of insiders. They already know what's happening before you ever know what's happening. So they've already positioned for it, which means they've set floors and they've set sell-offs to create mass panic. And then you sell into their range. They start to sell off. You sell into the range, and they just pick up all of your stock for cheap because you're willing to feed into it.
Dude, we need to look at Pepe, man. We need to immediately.
I know we
Just
do.
got the Coinbase futures listing.
Yeah, bro.
Who's gonna
We
proceed?
like, I don't think it. Can you go a little lower time frame, maybe just to the daily?
Yeah. Let's go.
So I actually have a video I just made, just a quick little update on some early fractals, you know, back at like the accumulation range, just kind of giving some updates. But bro, this thing is the definition of like, that was a deep value. Like that was a 63% pullback from that high, from the all-time high to the capitulatory low of that Saturday wick. And this swift buyback after clearing the board, full leverage reset, everybody that was in any even 2x leverage got wiped out. Like everybody got taken out of their positions. To see the buyback like this with the tailwind of, you know, Coinbase showing serious interest and actually offering a vehicle to trade Pepe futures, my target remains unchanged. And actually, if it does change, it might even be, you know, adjusted to the upside. I'm still targeting sort of that ceiling that was put in place last cycle from Pepe, or I'm sorry, from Doge and SHIB, where we saw Doge and SHIB both blast through 50 billion plus, you know. And it just so happens that our high time frame 3.618 is just over 50 billion. So this thing looks like an absolute beast right now. But I mean, again, like, here's the thing: people freak out about, you know, pullbacks, and they are, you know, they're very sensitive to it, and I understand it. But keep this in mind, guys, and I've tweeted about this before. You cannot expect an asset like a Pepe or some other meme coin to potentially offer you 10,000% gains to the upside without that same type of scary volatility to the downside. It goes both ways. You can't have your cake and eat it too. There's not an asset like Pepe that's going to go up 10,000% plus and only dip 20% when it dips. That volatility to the downside is a reflexive gift. Okay. The harder we drop, the harder we're going to rip out of it. Okay. When the demand is truly there, you should appreciate hard and scary drops. 63% drop on a meme coin, that's nothing. That's fine. You know, that's totally fine.
I
Totally
mean,
fine.
it was multiple X's from the high. I think whales were looking at this, Max, and they were just like, this is where I shove. This is where I drop in 100K, 50K, and run it up to another, 300, 400K.
Yeah. It's just, you know, it feels scary when you're in the moment. Like, if this stuff is new to you, I literally felt nothing during that Pepe drop. Like, I can't even emphasize that enough. Like, I literally felt nothing. I was just like, yeah, like, we're gonna drop and it's gonna get bought back up eventually, and like nothing changes because I've been in here before, you know. Like, I've held through drops like this. I've been through bull markets before. But seriously, like, this is a really good reminder for you. And I said this on Saturday. I hopped in a space real quick. Maybe some of you caught it. I said, this is a really good reminder for you not to get too crazy with the leverage, because things like this can happen and you can see 50-60% drops on meme coins. And you can get taken out of a very conservative leverage position. You don't need much leverage in a bull market. You don't need any unless you're very, very skilled. Like, this type of volatility, you can make exponentials just playing spot and playing rotations and pair trading. Like, you don't need to go crazy on the leverage, because then you leave yourself open to, you know, moments like this, you know? And I mean, there's some people that probably got taken out of their position, you know, around these lows on Pepe, and they're sitting here just seething right now. They're seething, and the best is yet to come, in my opinion. So it's a good reminder for everybody. It's a very good reminder that downside volatility, you are not insulated or protected from downside volatility in a bull market just because it had a very expansive leg to the upside. Like you need to prepare yourself for multiple on altcoins, 50 and 60% drops, and the strong ones will come back like this, and just listen to the market.
Well, the thing is, Max, is like Pepe wasn't the only one, right? And I think a lot of people did not take advantage of the dip in Bitcoin, and this is why I was screaming at people, even irritating them. Hey, you need to be looking at these opportunities. Like, look at Jupe, for instance. Look at Jupiter and the drop it did and the wick it did to the low. Look at ARB and the drop it did and the wick it did to the low. I mean, even look at Solana. Solana was like what, 117, 117. Like, people weren't looking at this as opportunity. They were so greedy. Sorry, I'm getting excited. They were so greedy about pricing that they were like, oh, Solana dropped almost, let's see, 50% from its high. Nah, it's gonna go lower. I'm gonna wait for it to go lower. And I'm just like, bro, like, everybody's been screaming about opportunity in altcoins. I don't see the opportunity. I can't get an entry. You got the most optimal entry you could have ever dreamed of. I think what was it? Sui hit like 89 cents or 90 something cents on the wick. Like, think about that. Just like put that in your head and fathom it. Its low was 43. Like, the best buying opportunities we'll probably see all the way into the bull, to be honest with you. Because the fear factor when Bitcoin dropped there from 75 and then dropped into like 61 and then slow dropped into like 59, that's where max capitulation kicked in, right? But it didn't even kick in after 59. It kicked in when we dropped from 75 to 61. That was your low. That's where the real fear was. And then as you saw these things create higher wicks, when we went lower in price on Bitcoin, that was altcoins showing strength against Bitcoin. Could you pull up real quick? I guess you can continue the Pepe thing, but when you get done, can you do a SUI against Bitcoin? You can see the obvious flip between altcoins and Bitcoin.
Sui BTC.
No. So do SUI on one side and Bitcoin on the other. Do a duo chart.
Oh my God. What is this chart? That looks terrible.
That was the bounce, bro. That was the bounce. But like, pull up SUI.
I
Now,
texted Tucker over the weekend, and I was like, "Sui is the worst chart I've ever seen."
No, but if
it's bearish, but just because it trades like complete AIDS.
Yeah, but if you looked at the wicks, like, you got a higher low when Bitcoin went lower. And it wasn't just Sui. Jupe did the same thing, right? It was Sui and Jupe. Both of them did the same thing.
Oh no.
They did a higher low. Stop with your propaganda. Look, we're
Well,
trying
that
to get
would
to
be
a
a
point.
good hedge right there. I'm not gonna lie. That would be a great hedge.
Pull up Bitcoin. Pull up Bitcoin. And now line out the 59K drop where it went 59.6, and then line out the 61. Put a line on both sides on Bitcoin and do the same thing on Sui.
What?
59.6, I think, was the low on Bitcoin, and the 61K range was the first low. Whatever the first drop was on Bitcoin, and then the second, sorry, vertical lines, not horizontal.
Here?
So, no, over to your right, your first drop, that one, and then, hold on, where are you on Bitcoin? Scroll out more. Hold on, you're on the sixth, no, I'm not talking about on the 6 hour, bro.
What are you talking about?
Go on the daily.
Sui also put in a lower low, by the way.
No, go on the daily. Go on the daily.
Change the time frame to fit my bias, Will.
The high time frame is always the key time frame, bro. What are we even talking about?
What do you need me to do?
All right, so you had the drop into what, 61 was the first drop there on the daily?
That?
What? Yeah, that. And then point out the second one. And maybe it wasn't Sui I was looking at. Maybe it was Jupe. Yeah, those two. Now point those out on. Yeah, it wasn't Sui then. Yeah, let's let's go to Jupe. Sorry,
Change the ticker.
no, I thought it was Sui for some reason. I don't have my chart in front of me. So go to Jupe. Point out the same areas.
No, I put in a lower low too.
Did it put in a lower low?
I think STX is the best example.
Yeah, STX is a
Not to show my
fantastic.
bags, but
Yeah, it probably is this. Yeah.
I
Nope,
mean,
same thing.
No,
Same thing.
still a lower low.
Okay, I'm wrong. I forget what I was looking at. Shit. Now I feel stupid, but I was looking at something that was forming a higher low, but maybe it wasn't any of these. I'll have to find it later. I'll post it later in the Discord. But there was an altcoin that was actually showing strength against Bitcoin, but all these seem to be showing weakness against it. Ultimately, though, you know what it is right there. So look at Sol, look at the wick, and look at the body. Draw the angled line right there.
What?
So the really low wick, and draw a trend off of that into our current run.
That?
There you go. Yeah. Now do the same thing in the same area for Bitcoin. That's what it was.
What?
No. So Bitcoin was actually wasn't it the falling one for Bitcoin right there?
Oh, that's what you're saying.
That man, I couldn't remember exactly what it was. That's what I was seeing on alts versus Bitcoin. So just that right there, that small inversion on the daily time frame. Okay, now I don't feel stupid. That small inversion right there.
I see it. Yeah, I see it.
It was basically an indication that alts were going to outperform Bitcoin.
It's actually a pretty good spot right there. Well, I like that.
You see what I'm saying now, though? So that was the area I was watching. And I was looking at Bitcoin and I was looking at alts. I was like, hold on. I was like, all these alts are actually showing strength against Bitcoin right here. And I think Jupe was too. It might not have just been Solana. Just in that small area, if you were to pull up Jupiter on the daily time frame. And now this could be a longer term trend too, right? Bitcoin could continue to chad, and these altcoins could continue to chad harder, and this uptrend on alts could remain an area of strength that you could just continue to watch. And if it starts to break down from that trend, then at that point you can kind of look at Bitcoin as like kind of flipping the alts. Does that make sense?
It does.
So if you were to pull that trend up higher and just use that trend as your bounce area, then the second you break that trend, then now Bitcoin's going to flip alts again.
Yeah, it's just Sol got killed so much harder in this drop, right?
Yeah, and that's why I think you're getting that flip on all
40%. My God,
is they got wrecked.
Yeah, they got wrecked. Yeah,
they got absolutely wrecked, and because of that, they're going to show a stronger uptrend, in my opinion, until they don't, right? And so, like, could you drag that line out on Sol there, and just like drag it out as if it were a trend? Yeah. So I would just watch that, and just if you can continue to bounce off it, you're good. And if you fail that trend, then at that point, Bitcoin's going to probably flip these alts.
on the Bitcoin pairs.
Yeah, on the Bitcoin pairs. Yeah. It's a much smaller. It's only like a small daily time frame here, but that could turn into weeks, could turn into months. We'll see. But I do expect altcoin outperformance to Bitcoin to the highs for sure. Like it just where will they lead and where will they lag? And I think that's what people don't talk about with Bitcoin performance to altcoin performance. People always say, "Oh, stay in Bitcoin until this on dominance flips." But in reality, there's always a lead and lag factor that makes altcoins more important than Bitcoin from bottom to top. From a performance perspective, just purely performance.
Right. When you catch altcoins at the extremities, they will mean revert much harder. That's how I'm viewing the altcoin bounces right now. Whether we're going to see altcoin outperformance after Bitcoin clears range highs, I'm maybe a little bit more skeptical. Unless the high is just kind of like a deviation, we're going to continue to range, then I think that for Bitcoin to break out in Chad, that's still probably going to be more conducive to Bitcoin specifically leading the rally. But, off the lows, it makes sense that altcoins are leading over the last few days, because it's like you guys pointed out, Solana was down almost 40% from its highs. Bitcoin was only down 18%. So, any spurt in Bitcoin dominance, if that's the case, is, if it's a rally, it's probably going to be met by a ton of people bidding altcoins and empty books. So you can push the price up very easily, doing so. But with that said, I do think if you're going to exit this range in a super aggressive way, the flows and liquidity relating to Bitcoin still favor Bitcoin leading the rally out of the range, in my opinion, rather than altcoins leading the rally and ETH leading the rally, unless you think that Bitcoin's not going to go that much higher on this next leg.
Tommy, I have a question for you.
Right now, for sure.
So you said Bitcoin leading. What about Bitcoin L2s?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're already seeing it. I'm bullish on Bitcoin L2s. I still think that's the best beta to Bitcoin is probably STX and obviously top ordinals collections. So I think as long as those are strong, realistically, you should probably not fade Bitcoin continuing to dominate liquidity, especially when it comes to New York session bidding, who is bidding what and how? How are people bidding Bitcoin during New York? It's been spot flows. How are people bidding altcoins? It's not as much spot flow, really more perp driven, momentum chasing into empty, ask side. After we cleared it, obviously we cleared out the books, like 2 weeks ago. But yeah, I think that from that standpoint, I still expect the bankers to continue to bid Bitcoin until you see maybe something more substantial change around altcoin regulation. Or, and maybe that's XRP, maybe that's ETH. But right now, I still think that Bitcoin is going to capture a majority share of that spot bid during New York session. So it makes sense. It makes more sense to me for it to continue to lead us out of the range. But off the lows, it makes sense to me that we're seeing altcoins lead right now.
Yeah, but and again, I completely agree. I think when we break the range, it will be Bitcoin doing that to start us off. But it's a lead and lag, and I think Bitcoin leads initially, but then lags overall, right? And so, like, let's entertain a thought. And gun to your head, you were told to hold one alt to the top of the market from here, or you were told to hold Bitcoin to the top of the market from here. From a performance factor, which one would you pick?
Well, to the top of the market, I agree with you. If you're asking me, but what are the odds that I correctly predict the top of the market? I think that has to be a factor in here as well, because most people won't do that. Not to say that me personally, I'm holding altcoins over Bitcoin at this point. I think that you can gain exposure to Bitcoin through beta. That's like a levered bet on Bitcoin in the same way that you can obtain exposure to ETH and Sol through altcoins, that it's essentially a levered bet on those assets. You can't get liquidated, yada, yada, yada. But I also think, people need to assume they're not going to sell the top, for one, because you probably won't. Most people don't.
Let's change it up a little bit. Let's go to the top 20% of the market. You can sell anywhere in the top 20%. Which one would you pick from a performance perspective?
Shoot, I'm probably picking Pepe or Whiff, honestly. If you're asking me for a token, and if you're asking me for an NFT or an ordinal, I'm picking Puppets, because those are levered bets on majors, and I have a really hard time seeing majors not just continually rise over the next 1 to 2 decades. So it's kind of a no-brainer play. And obviously, it's easy to pump meme coins, generally speaking, versus like Bitcoin and ETH. So I would say it'd probably be one of Pepe or Whiff, because I do think that I'm less confident on ETH than I am on Sol, really pumping this cycle. But clearly, Pepe doesn't care that ETH hasn't really performed that well. And I don't think the meme is really that tied to ETH anyway. I mean, maybe like from a correlation standpoint, it can sometimes be tethered to ETH, but I don't think that Pepe will need ETH to outperform Bitcoin dramatically in order to get to like 20 to 50 billion market cap this cycle.
Tucker, can you pull up WIF Sol, or like WIF and then another chart of WIF Sol, and we can look at both kind of side by side. But sorry, Tommy and Will, you keep going. I just figured we could get that visual up too.
No, it's all good. So you're basically stating that you say altcoins will be the better performer to the top of the market, whether it be to the top 20%, top 100%, regardless of where you sold near the top, you think alts would outperform Bitcoin, period.
Yeah, if I'm assuming we go higher, for sure.
Okay, so that's what I wanted to kind of get out of the way for the audience, and I'm not telling people what to buy or what they should choose. I'm simply stating, like, if we let's just get all the biases out of the way, and let's just look at things from a performance standpoint. Altcoins tend to outperform Bitcoin regardless of where you are in the market. Period. If you just hold them to top. Now, will we say that for all memes? Maybe not all memes, right? We can say that definitely for almost all utility coins. They're almost all the utility coins will outperform Bitcoin to the top of the market. Maybe top 10 don't do as well. Like, I don't think Cardano is going to do very well. And then a few other ones, like, and we'll see at the end of the day. Maybe I eat those words. But I think for the most part, like, your best bet's to always bet on performance. It's almost like gun to your head, SPY or any other stock out there. You would probably pick any other stock out there outside of SPY, because performance standpoint, these other stocks are going to have a better performance, metric on these things.
We do have 2 super chats that we should take a look at here over the next like 30 minutes or so. We can get to them.
ENA.
We did have one about ENA. We had one a little bit prior to that from Pitvox talking about Bowden as a meme coin. I like Bowden. As a meme coin. I didn't get it at first, but then I said it out loud how it's probably supposed to be pronounced, and I was like, damn, that is pretty funny. I mean, clearly a bid for, I mean, they're more or less like political social tokens, right? Like Trump, MAGA coin or whatever, and Bowden are basically social tokens for Joe Biden and Donald Trump, whether they want one or not. That's probably how they'll trade into the election.
I think people should really be cautious too, being biased on those, because I think, like, you don't have a bad take on betting on both, because you could definitely see an arbitrage opportunity where a market maker will come in and push the one that nobody is bidding, versus like come in and continue to play the one that everybody's bidding, because they're both bid tokens, right? And they both make sense. And I think not enough people look at this market from like the perspective that we do, and I think, like, very few people do. But the more illiquid something is, the quicker it can become liquid, and not only the quicker it can become liquid, the more X's you can gain. And I think a lot of people have fear of something being illiquid, but NFTs are illiquid if you think about it, right? Ordinals are illiquid. BRCs.
You know what else is really illiquid that we should look at is the soybean chart. Soybeans are very illiquid. Soybeans are very, very illiquid.
It's
so we're gonna look at them,
man.
Okay,
Crypto's
guys, you know the deal. Cotton
candy.
candy futures.
Ooh.
I mean, what do you guys? We got whatever you guys want. I mean,
what does sugar dominance look like right now?
Cocoa futures,
man.
Sugar.d.
Cocoa, bro. Cocoa.
So listen, guys. The likes are in capitulation right now. We have almost 300 people watching on YouTube, probably double or triple that on X. We have less than 100 likes on the YouTube stream, guys. We are going to sit here and look at all of these commodity futures that nobody cares about on the micro time frame.
This is oat futures, Max.
We're going to look at oat futures on, this is the 6 hour, Tucker.
Yeah, we're going to drop it down.
Nice PO3 though. Look at that PO3 set up there.
On the 6 hour?
Yeah, look at that. Right,
I know.
Right there. That was a nice little deviation. But yeah, guys, we're going to sit here until we get some likes, guys, because this is this is egregious, man. If you guys are enjoying the content, please take one quick moment out of your day and just do us a solid and hit that thumbs up button. It really does wonders for the channel. It does wonders for our growth, and I promise we wouldn't ask and bother you guys to do it if it didn't make a big difference. But we're here for free. All that we ask is that you guys every single day show up, enjoy the content, and express your enjoyment through an actual like. That's all that we request. I think it's a fair trade, right? You get free content, we get likes. You know, it's that simple. So do us a solid, guys. Let's run these likes up. All right, we got to 120 likes on YouTube. Guys, I want to see the Twitter crowd now. If you're on Twitter, all you got to do is hit that heart button and then also hit that retweet button, guys. You have a special functionality that the YouTube crew doesn't have. You can hit that retweet button. A retweet is equivalent to like 5 likes. So, guys, not only hit that like button, please consider hitting that retweet button. And again, thank you guys so much for being here. All right, let's see what we got to. 125, that's good enough. Tucker, back to the crypto.
Exchanging alpha for likes. For you, my friend, I make special price.
Wait, we should look at ENA though, because they asked about it.
What is ENA, bro? I don't even know what this is. What am I looking at?
It's Athena. It's the USDE. It's bull market 2021 Luna. It's the Ponzi, Max. It's the Ponzi. It's programmed to go up when there's positive funding.
Why does it look boring?
Boring? I mean, we hit some absolute banger trades on this thing. I closed it right here, by the way, Pitbox. But
is Chamath gonna dump on me?
No, Kobe might though.
Absolutely, they're gonna dump on you. Everybody is.
Damn.
Will's gonna dump on you.
Well, I already knew that. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's a given.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's probably good to buy just in this range. It probably does something like that. I'd be shocked if it didn't. It's a good Ponzi, man. I wouldn't fade a good Ponzi, but short term, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily want to step in front of it right here, but yeah. What do you guys think?
I have no thoughts on that. I don't even know what it is.
I don't even know how I can form an opinion on that.
It's too fresh for me, man. It's too fresh.
Right? It is very
give me like
fresh.
2 weeks of PA on that, and then I'll have an opinion. Like I lean into the technical so much that charts that are that fresh, it's like I might buy some, but it's like I can't really form an opinion. It would be more just like speculating on it. You know, it's like gambling for me.
Oh, it's pure speculation.
Max, you know what I've noticed? Tucker uses this template on everything and just expands it.
What?
This freaking template, bro.
Oh, fibs?
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the one that you set up. You always like make it the same size on everything.
No, I just draw the fibs, bro. It's from here to here.
Man. Look at this shit.
What do you mean the same size?
I like Tucker's fibs, bro. I like Tucker's fibs. They're clean. I don't like his candle colors. I've been vocal about that. His candle colors
you're calling
trash,
like,
but his fibs are really good.
You're calling like the 4 and shit. You should only be calling the 1618.
I mean, it's just out there. I'm not calling anything, bro. I'm just putting it on the chart. You know, it is what it is. It's right there. $4. That's not that big a move. A little 4x out of a what? What's the FTB on this thing? Like a bill?
A 4x is not a Luna. All right, that shit needs to do like a million.
I know a Luna would be like literally a 30x from here. So yeah,
this thing needs to make some monster moves to catch up with Luna.
No, I understand. I'm saying it's a Ponzi like Luna was.
Tucker, do you think part of the mystique around Luna, and this is just me thinking out loud, do you think part of the mystique is that it was on its own chain and you could basically do nothing on the chain other than participate in the Ponzi? How do you think that would potentially relate to ETH and ENA? Because there have been a lot of Ponzi's on ETH. So obviously there's a higher degree of skepticism, and there's probably a higher bar for participants to get over mentally to assume that it won't be another Luna, even though it might be, you know, or it might not be. I'm not trying to flood anybody's bags.
A higher bar because it's on a chain where you can do other things.
Almost like that, or because we've had Ponzi's on ETH, like a lot of Ponzi's on ETH before.
I mean, I think it's better than it's on ETH, honestly.
You think it's better?
Yeah. I mean, look, I own 0 spot of this thing anymore. Like, I'm not like trying to convince anybody to buy this thing. Like, first of all, but yeah, I mean, I think it's literally the same mint burn thing as Luna, except I don't know what exactly they did. You guys can go read their docs. I'm not out here trying to tell anybody to buy this thing.
Do they have a stable coin?
I don't know. Go look it up, Will.
Well, I'm just saying, like,
yes,
Luna,
they do. They do.
Okay.
It's called USDE.
All right, then probably. USDE. I mean, if they're doing like burn back and forth, hopefully it's an algorithm, so that way I can short the top again, like what I did with Luna, because that was Luna's downfall, was their algo was easily exploitable.
It is. It's also like when there's positive fund, they're like shorting into positive funding, right? So they're holding spot and they're shorting positive funding, so they're getting paid on that. And paying
okay, yeah. Then I'll long it into the bull run and short it into the bear to 0.
Exactly. When there's negative funding, it's going to get destroyed. Like continued negative funding.
Is that just broader market funding, or is that on ENA specifically?
It's on ETH.
Okay.
I'm bullish. I'll get some spot on this. I'll ride it up and then I'll short it down so people can. Did you even buy any when I short it? And I'm like, yeah, sure. I bought some at the low. Here you go. And I shorted it all the way to 0.
Did you even buy any?
Speaking of derivatives, I did want to point out, I think it's really weird and interesting, but not great, that Bitcoin and ETH funding was heavily negative going into the new daily candle yesterday. And for whatever reason, now it's very positive. It's very positive. And you actually have a negative funding on Binance, but not Bybit again. So maybe something to keep in mind.
You're saying that.
I'm saying we might keep ranging, man. We might just
well, that was my thoughts. That's why I said, like, you could probably see 71K, which is really close, and then you'll probably see that bear market top there, or bull flag top kind of come into play there at that point, and then this thing gets shreked right back down to the mid range. The funding's got to chill. People got to stop taking leverage positions.
They never will. They never will, brother.
Oh, they will once they lose all their money.
Well, they'll get forced out. Yeah, but we don't want that to happen. That would happen.
They're not spot buyers anyway, so it doesn't even matter. It's not going to affect the market in that way.
They'll just relong.
Yeah, like they haven't liquidated their whole margin account, man.
Yeah, they'll just long it again.
DJs, man.
Yeah.
You gotta love the tilted revenge long. We've all done it.
Of course.
Once you've done it, though, you don't need to do it again because you understand why why those people don't last very long in markets. But
well, the tilted one too, you got to keep in mind. The first couple ones they get liquidated for like a couple K, maybe 5. And then the last one where they really lose their mind is where they just like, all right, I'm just going to long with my entire portfolio. And then that's the one that completely destroys them.
Dude, I'm just praying that they pin Bitcoin between 65 and 70K through the rest of April, just so we can get one nice juicy red monthly close after 7 green, just to shut up all the yappers that just will not stop talking about how many consecutive green months we've had. And then sell in May and go away is the biggest fade of all time, and we just rip it all through the rest of Q2. But I want us pinned right here. If you're watching and you have $1 billion, all I need you to do is just straddle price right now. Put some fat bids at 64, put some huge asks at 70, and just pin us right here through the end of the month. And then keep your bids, pull your asks, and let's send this thing so much higher. But I need it pinned here, man. I need it pinned. Has to happen.
Yeah, I'd love it to be pinned here as well. We just got to do it for one more week. The weekly just looked kind of janky, though. I don't even know what to make of this. What is this? That looked cleaner. A lot of wicks, right? Tiny bodies, a lot of wicks. Interesting.
Looks much better than ETH. Sorry, that was the one shot I had to take, but
does it?
It definitely looks better than ETH. Yeah, that does not look like a bull flag to me. I'm just going to be honest, but
no, but I don't think it needs to. I don't think it needs to. Just yeah, there it is. Probably gonna need to do a little bit of that action, a little sideways for ETH. What was this? This had to be like a 3-day. Oh, the old order block, yeah. Called the bottom, eh? Where else did ETH look like that? I don't know. I mean, that would be really unfortunate if that's all it did, but you know.
Dude, somebody has logged in from different accounts now like 5 times and repeated the same thing. I'm literally watching. We're not gonna acknowledge you, bro. It's not gonna happen.
split personality disorder.
Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna need to see a little bit of ETH strength here, man. That would be much appreciated. I guess Pepe doesn't even
Do
need
we
it.
really need to see anything?
I guess, yeah. I guess we don't. We just need.
We
to
don't
see
need to see
Pepe
anything from
continue
ETH,
chatting.
You just pick your ETH exposure beta as far as beta goes wisely, and you should be fine.
That's true.
ETH is cooked, man. ETH is not outperforming Bitcoin to any meaningful degree for a while.
Can we nuke the contract addresses in the comments real quick?
Yeah.
Are people trying to get us to be shillors?
Yeah. Ban user and delete their comments. See ya, bruv.
Toasted.
It's like Justin Sun, buy my shitcoin. You guys see he got charged by the SEC. Not that it matters. I just thought it was funny.
No, what did he get charged?
What did he? Yeah, what happened?
I think like selling illegal securities. Probably Tron.
Definitely.
They could get him for way worse if they wanted to, though. I will say that. Not to FUD Justin's Sun.
How dare you FUD Justin's Sun?
Leave Justin out of this, Tommy. You can keep FUDding ETH and Vitalik. You leave Justin alone, all right?
Well, if Justin's Sun were to, if anything happened to Justin's Sun, ETH DeFi's cooked, man. I will say that. He's farming a lot.
You're probably hoping something happens to him.
Yeah, he's praying that something happens to Justin's Sun. Oh my god.
No, I mean, thoughts on Justin's Sun. I like Justin's Sun.
Clear as day deviation, bro. Clear as day. Doesn't get any better than that.
Deviation, bro.
Bodies. Yep. That's the high I want to get above, or else we're just gonna maybe reaccumulate and then do that. God, it's ugly when you draw it on the daily. But yeah.
Hey, but ETH though, I think if ETH can get above 3,300, I think it rockets, man.
Yeah.
I think it absolutely it has to get above 3,300, not touch it, and it has to get above it. I think if you can get above 3,300, you're going right back to the highs again.
I mean, I'm actually still very bullish ETH. It's just like it's going to require the utmost patience, and I know that. You know, but I know it's going to have its quarter of outperformance. I just don't really know exactly when, you know. But I'm kind of fine with that. Like, I don't hold a ton of like direct ETH exposure. All of my ETH is basically, not all of it, but a good portion of my ETH is just sitting in like Aave. And I basically have just used it to like pull out loans against it, really low leverage, just to buy like ETH shit coins. So that's just my strategy with ETH. And I feel like that's probably the winning one, low key, because it's going to be hard to time when it actually outperforms. So
Q1 25 max. Trust.
Probably, you said that a long time ago. You're probably right.
Yeah, that's the Ethereum tsunami. That's a Ben Cohen. That's a Ben Cohen quote, but it's real.
Yeah,
it is indeed real. Yeah.
Can we highlight Douglas's comment there?
I don't know. Well, are you gonna?
I think I'll just keep calling ETH BTC bottom publicly on Twitter. Like every morning I'll wake up and then I'm just gonna go ETH BTC bottom is in, and then eventually it's gonna be the Pico Schmico bottom, and I'm just gonna delete all my other tweets. And
Let's say I called it.
Yeah, no one will see through that. Like it's gonna be totally fine.
Hey, you joke, but people have literally been doing that for like a year and a half.
I know.
The ETH Bitcoin bottom's in this time, guys. Though I promise.
This was it. This was the final capitulation. The last one was different. This one,
look, yeah. No cap though. People have to acknowledge, regardless of whether or not that's been the case. ETH hit 3,700. You cannot fade that. You cannot fade that. ETH is going a lot higher.
ETH hit higher than that, bro. You got to 4,100.
Oh, did it hit 41? Oh, yeah. I think it was on the recent bounce. It was 3,700, right?
Yeah, it was. It was.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I think for me, like, this is the way I see this. Scroll out there, Tucker. This is another bull flag forming on the daily.
You think?
Yeah, I think we're at the mid range right now, just like with Bitcoin.
I mean,
you draw a parallel
it's a little
channel,
too vertical. It's a little too vertical.
No, but draw the channel on it. Draw the channel on it.
Like this is too short. No, I know. Here, I'll do it. I'll do it for you, Will. Don't worry. Where's the damn thing?
Are there any ETH NFTs that look good other than Milady's right now? I'm just asking. I don't know.
That's actually a good one, Harry. I like that. Can you highlight Harry's comment there?
I'd love to show one ETH NFT, but they haven't been super cooperative, so I'm not sure I'm going to do that.
Man, roasted alive.
And no, I do not eat my hamburgers with a fork. Just FYI. Okay, not too good though. Not too good. You're right.
You eat your hamburger with a fork, Will?
No, I mean somebody said that. That was a good joke, but I
have you ever done that? Though, Will, be honest.
Have you done that? Yeah,
I've never. No, if I see somebody eating wings or hamburger or like, say they're eating like the down south like seafood in the bag with a fork, I got a problem.
Will, I bet you're the kind of guy to like take like a bone-in wing, like a bone-in buffalo wing, and like cut the meat off of the bone.
Hell no, bro.
That's you, Will.
No.
Oh no, man.
Just be honest, Will. It's fine. You don't like to get your hands dirty. I get it. It's fine. All this diving in the dumpster stuff.
Bro, I'm diving in dumpsters, and you think I don't eat with my hands? Come on now.
Come on now. Oh man. Well,
it's close, but not quite lining up there. I see what you're saying.
Let's look at like others, Tucker. Let's look at like others or total 3 or something like that. Well, delete that. Whoa. Tucker, delete that. Get that off the screen.
That was bad, bro.
No.
Delete fell through there.
That's not a valid trend line. Don't worry about
Triangle traders in shambles.
Delete that.
Triangle
traders in shambles.
No. That's actually alpha. We talked about that, Tom. You remember?
We did talk about that. If triangles are working without fail, you're in like peak bull market conditions, man.
Yeah, like you're looking for a breakdown on triangles into a breakout.
I like that line right there. I like that line. Bottom's in though. The only problem is this kind of region right here, in my opinion, might be a little bit sticky. Yeah, let's just get rid of these, make it clean. Yeah. Could be sticky in here until we reclaim it, but maybe even just some of that. I mean, I think others look good. Oh, others over Bitcoin. Oh wow. Oh no, who could have foreseen? Oh no.
Dude, I kind of think you need to squish that up. Like I honestly think
I know I that was my first thought as well.
Like, we are already in the sell-off right now. Like, we just had that sell-off, in my opinion. Because if you put the Bitcoin halvings up there,
yeah, then timing-wise, it looks better. I know.
It does. And we're definitely front-running this cycle a little bit, and that will become clear if you were to put the halvings on there.
Yeah,
But in my opinion, we just had that sell-off, or we're in the midst of it right now. And I think that chart would bleed if... I think this chart would bleed again back to the lows if Bitcoin chads up to like 85K and Bitcoin dominance has one more spike. But this is your sell-off before others really picks up steam against Bitcoin, in my opinion.
The only problem I had with this was that it doesn't go high enough. If you just slap it over like where we're at, I mean, it would imply a little more downside, but like, you know, I mean, when does this even? Yeah, December 25. What would that be? A 2.5x out of others? There's no way, man. That thing's going way higher. Which, you know, obviously, if we, when was this though? December of 20. Why did that nuke so hard? This nuked when Bitcoin was literally flying. That's when Bitcoin broke through its old all-time high. That's when others over Bitcoin got destroyed. So, yeah. I mean, your USD prices are still going to go up, you know, but yeah, just this whole fractal though, I think is relevant just from the bottom. See, I don't even know. This needed to be way higher, which is why I just kind of like threw it on here like this. But I mean, yeah, timing wise, you see what I'm saying? It's not going to be exact at all. Either way, I think others is getting closer to a bottom with Bitcoin. Who taught y'all TA?
They're making fun of your drawings, Tucker.
I know. Have you checked out Carl from the Moon? That's expert level stuff right there. My mentor, actually.
I learned from Jim Cramer. Jim Cramer taught me everything I know.
Yeah.
Just hosted him, bro. Just put him in the deep fryer, man.
Exactly.
The woodshed, man. It's over.
Exactly like predicted, Tucker. Exactly like that pennant. Exactly like predicted.
Exactly as predicted.
Oh, bro. Just came at him for no reason. Oh, there's no second best.
Tucker, can you throw the whiff consolidation on that chart?
Excuse me?
Since this is a commodity cycle, can we look at McDonald's stock?
Hang on. Whiff? What are you talking about? Exactly.
The MEXC chart.
The MEXC chart, yeah.
Full price history.
What
consolidation? That consolidation at the bottom. Throw that fractal. Others Bitcoin, yeah.
Oh geez, I see what you're saying there, Tommy. Let's just get real crazy with it.
It's going to require quite a bit of massaging.
Yeah, it is. Jeez. What are you talking about here? You're talking about
the whole chart.
Huh?
Whole history on the chart.
Wait a second, Tommy. Wait a second. You're asking a lot here. You're asking a lot. Oh my goodness. I mean, I don't even think. Oh my. Has he done it? Has he cracked the code?
Man, oh man.
We need to squish it a little though.
Oh my. Okay, first of all, I am not expecting that at all.
60 million.
But that would be epic.
Yeah,
that would imply like an ETH ETF and Doge ETF, and like we get regulatory clarity on altcoins. Like that's what would have to happen for others BTC to do that. Would be basically the SEC is just like, yep, guns are blazing. Everyone, you can buy altcoins. You're good to go. Then you're going to see that. But I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't know, man.
Pull a 20x basically from here against Bitcoin. That would be wild.
I don't know whether to question if Tucker has started drugs or how long he's been on drugs.
Hey, I was just told to massage here, Will. This was all Tommy, man. This was all Tommy.
I actually do see it. Like I do see it. It's just you're gonna need you're gonna need these stars to align perfectly for that to happen.
Yeah, basically just like, oh man, that's even better. You got to cut out the first part a little bit. You know, like look at it just from the top down, right? Like maybe we should do that. We should massage this a little bit.
I'm about to do some massaging of myself.
I bet you are. I bet you are.
Precisely as predicted. This is the one call I'm going to tell you guys about because it was precisely as predicted, even though the other 345 were not.
Yeah, we need to go. What do we need to go?
Just have to get on such a high time frame to massage this thing.
I know,
bro. I feel like
this is the true definition of zooming out.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I feel like we're discussing super cycles here, and I don't like those discussions.
Tommy.
Is it a super cycle or more like probably timed with liquidity cycles that are topping in like 2027, 2028-ish?
Let's discuss what a super cycle is. In my eyes, a super cycle is extremes. And I don't ever see a market for extremes, at least not yet.
A super cycle is extreme. I mean, we get extremes every 4 years. I would call a super cycle.
I mean, it's extremes if you haven't been involved in crypto.
The S&P has been in a super cycle since like 1900. Okay, that's a super cycle. That's a super cycle.
On a zoom out, sure, we could say on a zoom out, but like realistically, cycle by cycle, it's does what everything else does. It goes up, it comes down, it goes up again.
Yeah, stretch it out to 2030 and totally possible. Yeah. Real. I mean, that's basically what you're.
I think that's a longer term play.
This kind of lines up with my Bitcoin dominance opinion too, which is probably not popular, but I don't really think Bitcoin dominance is dropping below 50 beyond a deviation for a few years.
No. This
doesn't mean that all coins can't run.
This is others over Bitcoin, Tommy.
No, I know.
So others would appreciate versus Bitcoin until the summer, and then nuke a little bit into Q1 of next year, and then others would go vertical against Bitcoin.
Yeah, probably. Because I mean, I'm kind of under the assumption that you're going to see the 2018 or the 2017, 2021 Bitcoin dominance cycle play out over a longer time horizon. That's kind of always been my bias, but I mean, it could be different, obviously, you know. If altcoins are going to trade more directly correlated with market liquidity, the liquidity cycle top is 2026, 2027.
If this were an illiquid shitcoin and you were showing me this chart, I would be all on board for it. But we're talking about all the altcoins combined, like seeing exponentials of this magnitude. I don't know.
Against Bitcoin, not against dollars.
Yeah, I don't. Again, like if Bitcoin didn't have an ETF, this would be measurable in my mind, but it does. And so I think Bitcoin will always outpace altcoins now because of that. I'm not talking about from a
Always?
growth perspective, Max. I'm not talking about from a growth perspective. Or sorry, a performance perspective. I'm not talking about from a performance perspective. I'm talking about just from like money flow in will always be stronger in Bitcoin. These altcoins get smashed every single bear cycle, absolutely obliterated. Like a lot of them literally go to zero. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. The biggest thing that surprised me, though, I won't lie, is like the shit coins that survived from 2021 coming into this cycle. And I think the only reason they did survive is because they have no utility. They have no. They don't have to maintain anything. It doesn't cost anything to keep it running. So I think like in those scenarios, those coins continue to thrive. Like if a coin's willing to lock up their liquidity for 557 years, I'm all in. Let's play. I don't care about utility. Going to a secular bull run, it's all about performance.
This is true. This is true, Will.
Wait, why are balloons coming up on Max's screen? Did anybody
It's his
see
birthday,
that?
bro.
Did it happen again?
Yeah, twice. Twice.
Wow, man.
Max was all looking surprised, smiling.
I don't know what that was.
Oh man, Max, you know what I think it is? I think your wife somehow has control on this account.
Think she's messing with us?
And she's just messing with us from time to time. Middle of the street.
Jack is tuned in from his vacation and he's messing with us somewhere behind the curtain.
Jack is too.
Jack is. Oh my god.
That beach he went to looked stunning. Man, it looked stunning.
All right, guys.
The stimmy on Tuesday.
Anything else you want to look at?
Bitcoin dominance.
Bitcoin dominance.
Show him the line, Tucker. Show him the line.
God, I can't wait for this thing to literally go to Goblin Town.
This is the line Will had me draw yesterday.
It's a nice line.
It's a nice line. I'm going to need it to come back underneath this line for sure.
Yeah. It could definitely even peek over it and then fall under it later. The point being is I don't think Bitcoin's going much higher than what a lot of people are anticipating. I keep seeing the normies speak about 60 BTCD, and I'm just like,
it is going to 60. Will Bitcoin dominance?
Like, I don't know if I trust the guy who's telling me 60. I don't know if I trust him. Right?
Reddit.
I understand.
Run from it. Destiny arrives all the same.
I understand you're about to serve me my pizza with a fork and a knife, but I'm not interested in your 60. I don't think it's happening.
Yeah. I mean, kind of stuffed from a key level,
Egg mix stuff.
Kind of stuffed, yeah.
It keeps grinding higher.
It got stuffed, man.
Dude, you don't want to be the Bitcoin dominance defender, Tommy.
No,
definitely don't want to do that shit, bro.
A guy that owns as many altcoins as you, Tommy, you don't want to go down in history.
Tommy, usually I'm supporting you, bro, but I can't support you here. It's not gonna happen.
You're on your own.
Everybody has tried to call a top on this thing every single month for the last year and a half.
It's not the same thing, bro. Like
grind higher. How is it not? When Bitcoin has, what are people bidding during New York session? And what spot are they bidding?
Scroll out and draw the circle around that
thing. Don't make me do it, Tommy. Don't make me do it.
Do it to him.
It's a big hand.
Do it to him.
Wait, it's got to be green.
Man, Tommy, you just got toasted, brother. Look at that.
Goodness, it's
what do
over.
You have to say back to that, Tommy? It's over for you. He just hit you with the hammer and the magnet. It's programmed now. It's programmed.
It is programmed.
You will not see Bitcoin dominance that low for multiple years, in my opinion.
Bro, look at that inefficiency we hit the top of the cycle, right there.
Back there, bro.
That inefficiency is getting filled this cycle, brother. That's getting filled. Whether we hold it that low or not, I won't debate. But that inefficiency is getting smacked this cycle. Yes.
I really don't think so. But
and that's probably when I
make more money. So
That's where I exit all markets, by the way. It's probably right in there. Just to be clear, everyone's going to jump on me and they're going to be like, he's bailing on us. He's selling all of his crypto. I'm telling you right now, when Bitcoin
Altcoins are
dominance
going to
that
get fucked when you
inefficiency,
get there.
I will be taking profits on just about everything. And I don't want to hear anybody being like, he didn't tell us. Here I am telling you, you can save this. If we get down to 46%, I am taking heavy, heavy profits. Unless we're literally just like, unless there's something crazy and like the SEC just basically says you can buy altcoins, then I'm not going to do it, right? But assuming we don't get some like crazy like white swan, I don't know, like that's your spot. That's my TP1 right there, okay? 46%. And then you can take some altcoin profit.
48% best I can do, Max.
Brother, we've been uptrending, Tommy. We've been uptrending for a year and a half straight, bro.
Yep.
And why? The trend is your friend. The trend is your friend.
No, what I'm saying is when that trend finally breaks, it's not going to be a quick little drop to 48%. It's
going to be brutal.
You break a year and a half long trend, it's going to be longer in a correction than that.
I agree with
Tucker,
you on that.
Scroll out, Tucker. Just let him see what happened last time we got to this type of play. Look at what happened last time.
I said my opinion is that Bitcoin is playing out a longer version of the last cycle's price action.
Now scroll out more, Tucker. If you could.
I mean, this is about, yeah.
Okay, so now go ahead and mark every time that Bitcoin has bottomed into the cycle of BTCD. Point out the cycle bottoms on BTCD.
The cycle bottoms on Bitcoin dominance. Well, you had
one. Look at that.
You had one here.
Look at that.
Dude,
so why wouldn't it come back to that red box?
Imagine we actually go on to make a new low. Like, can you draw like a bear flag here, Tucker? Can you draw a bear flag?
Maybe when that other's Bitcoin plays out, but not this cycle. Absolutely not in my opinion.
Tommy, why so bearish?
Look, I'm just saying, Tommy. Like,
matter though. Like altcoins, you could have picked a ton of altcoins that are outperforming Bitcoin and ETH. So it's not like altcoins are never gonna pump again. That's not my opinion. But in relation to Bitcoin's dominance over the market, I don't see why this trend would necessarily shift given current liquidity conditions. Don't really seem like retail is flooding back in mass in the same way that they were when Bitcoin dominance nuked off a freaking cliff at the beginning of 2021 or the end of 2020.
Tommy, you clearly haven't seen my TA on this yet.
Negative prices. Negative prices.
It's called a bear flag, brother. It's called a bear flag.
Who'd you learn how to do that kind of TA from?
Oh man, that's proprietary. That's where I learned the magnet and the hammer trick as well. So you'll have to. What?
I was just gonna say, I assume the person that bags your groceries taught you this, and they are a very, very intelligent person. All right.
Yeah.
Look, let's point out the elephant in the room here. Do you see that rounding top there, Tommy? You see that? We're starting to round here at the top.
You mean where it's just been grinding higher while everybody's tried to call it top?
No,
on
I mean, look. Let's look at the round shape that's currently occurring here. Let's point out the obvious.
This is a classic Will half circle, isn't it, Will?
There you go. Now go ahead and drag that all the way down to the red box for the start point. And then go ahead and drag that all the way down to the red box on the other side. Oh man, let's hope that doesn't play out, because that's what it looks like is going to play out here.
Here's my problem with something like this playing out. And I'm going to go back to you guys are going to make me talk about ETF flows again. And I hate to do that because that makes me sound like a tool. But I'm going to bring them up just because when we talk about liquidity coming into the space, at the very least, we know we have liquidity coming into Bitcoin through ETFs. So far, we haven't seen that liquidity quite rotate out of Bitcoin and into alts, or at the very least into native crypto ecosystems in the same way. Otherwise, Bitcoin dominance would already be nuking. So I'm just kind of wondering, where is the bid for altcoins coming in that's going to nuke Bitcoin dominance, but simultaneously Bitcoin USD is going to be moving higher in a way that, you know, we think Bitcoin's going to 100, 200K. But if we think that, how can Bitcoin dominance be topping here when the bid on altcoins is mostly futures driven?
I think
you're underestimating the ability of the derivatives market to balloon more than it has historically. I don't think we need much of a supportive spot bid for altcoins. I think that Bitcoin going up enough and potentially needing ETH to go up, you know, which is a lot to ask right now. I think that coin margin longs can send the altcoin market significantly higher. But maybe I'm overly optimistic on that.
Well,
cross collateralization across. Sorry, I got some stimmy in my throat.
Cross collateralization. That's good.
Like when you have assets, like crypto, you have assets as margin. You long other assets. It creates a lot of convexity, and price can appreciate a lot. But altcoin open interest already made all-time highs, pretty significantly above them, and even some individuals like Solana, like Sol went 3 times its previous all-time high in open interest. Most people have no idea that even happened. Matic hit all-time highs on its open interest, which I couldn't even believe that when I saw that last week, by the way. But I mean, we do have, like, people are already leveraging alts to a degree that we haven't seen in this market's history before. So I'm just, I think, still a little bit skeptical that we see. I mean, at least Bitcoin, I think the dominance needs to go a little bit higher before we can see that rotation, because I think it's more a signal that Bitcoin is slowing down and not getting bid to the same degree anymore. I think we can all agree on that, right? Like, you see Bitcoin dominance nuke when Bitcoin is typically topping. But I don't know that we have enough liquidity in the market to just pump altcoins and Bitcoin through the roof parabolically in the way that I think people are expecting, in the same way as 2021.
Is there any type of QE that you could foresee coming in and changing that perspective for you?
I mean, the QRA meeting in May will be positive for liquidity. I do believe that. You bet your butt Janet Yellen is going to do everything she can to try and save or to put a pump on before the election.
Big time
on it, but like something that would shift the dynamic between Bitcoin and alts. I think you need Bitcoin dominance to go higher to see that rotation into altcoins.
Yeah, I think, Tommy, though, you're also not considering, like, altcoins could be altcoin growth, right? More altcoins coming into the space, not necessarily current altcoins pumping, that being by new investors, so on and so forth. And you see time over time that the altcoin market has grown exponentially and continues to grow exponentially every single cycle. And that's where BTCD gets crushed, is because the altcoin growth, think of it like a city, right? Your city's going to expand and expand and expand over time. And that's what we're seeing with the altcoin market is it's an expanding city that continues to only expand even more every cycle. And I think that expansion will continue as we go up in price on Bitcoin, which will continue to depreciate, Bitcoin's dominance growth in this market, and probably create these higher lows like what we're talking about here, not necessarily going any higher on BTCD. Not to mention, if you're asking at what point and how and why, I mean, I can answer that with a simple question. It's ask PayPay, right? Still continuing to Chad through all this BS, and yet
here's where I kind of agree with Tommy, though. Here's where I kind of agree with Tommy. We might not see others' dominance go as high as our fractals maybe suggest because of all the reasons that Tommy's highlighted. But we might see something like Pepe dominance, a very concentrated single altcoin or a handful go fucking crazy. But what Tommy's alluding to is we don't have generally the same liquidity conditions or environment that would be conducive to altcoins really stealing the show from Bitcoin. But a handful of select alts could, basically do that, but it wouldn't be the entire sector. I could see that for sure.
One key word, though, that wasn't mentioned was the word yet, right? And I think that's what we're not factoring in is yet. And at some point that will come into play. And at some point altcoins will absolutely Shrek Bitcoin. And it could happen from here to the top.
I agree with both of you. I will say the one variable that I don't know is how long is the cycle going to be, right? Because if it's going to be some situation where Bitcoin is replaying essentially its 2017 to 2021 cycle on, just playing out on a slower version, it would take a little bit longer for altcoins to tick up. And I could see the argument for altcoins just like literally going complete mania in 2025. I'm totally open to that. Quite frankly, I look at a lot of altcoin charts though, and what I see is, they pumped a lot in 2021. They haven't pumped now, but you have altcoins obviously that went way above their all-time highs. So for one, it's like you guys said, you don't need Bitcoin dominance to make money on alts for one, and you don't need, just because some alts aren't doing well doesn't mean that other alts in the market aren't going to be doing disgustingly well. Like we've seen outperformers to a pretty substantial degree, even this year, right? Like with meme coins, and then going back to last year, we had Solana. But then at the same time, you have altcoins that didn't get bid. And those charts to me look like, they put in maybe I'm not going to call it a cyclical top, right? But when you look at like, you have a bubble, and then you have the second wave of that bubble. For a lot of those coins, I feel like it's going through the second wave of that bubble where they don't pump. And the real like culprit behind that I look at is ETH DeFi. You look at the ETH DeFi chart, it's basically just been, and all the ETH DeFi USD charts, like a Uni, a Curve, Aave, Maker, they really had underwhelming runs so far, right? I want to make sure to put that caveat. Like they could end up having huge cycles in 2025 when we have more liquidity flushing in the market.
Those are kind of dino coins though. Are there any like new DeFi coins that maybe just haven't had their season yet? Because think, if we have like our new version, this cycle's version of DeFi summer, it's like what should we look at to, what's that?
It's probably on Bitcoin, right?
I mean, I would hope, right? Like STX should fucking rip. That's why I hold STX. It feels like early Aave days for STX.
Ordinals, BRCs.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Runes. Bitcoin has the chance to actually be the ETH killer if something like STX can actually work. All this talk about like new L1s that are ETH killers, like Bitcoin could end up being the ETH killer. If you can give Bitcoin all the same functionality as Ethereum, you now have ordinals, you've got BRC20s. If you have Bitcoin DeFi that works and it's more decentralized, Bitcoin just killed Ethereum.
If you got yield.
Yes, exactly. So Bitcoin, it's got a long way to go. Okay. I'm not saying this is even within like 2 years, potentially. Bitcoin could be the ETH killer. I'm just going to put that out there. It has the chance, but I don't know if that's not my specialty. Like I'm not a dev. I don't know if that's even really possible. I understand like the dream and the vision, and I'm investing in some of it, but I don't know for sure. But if they can do it, then Bitcoin just killed Ethereum. So it's possible. You have to consider, you have to be hedged for that at a minimum. You have to be hedged for that.
Yeah.
Ordinals are the best hedge for that. And STX. And if you're bullish on Bitcoin DeFi growing, then I think it's kind of hard to argue against Bitcoin dominance not also remaining, if not going higher, than remaining elevated. But I want to be clear, like I'm not bearish altcoins as an asset class. I just think the market has picked its winners, and there is no extra liquidity to be able to bid the losers that people don't want to bid. And it's, you can see that very clearly, not just in the fact that, ETH has underperformed Bitcoin to such a degree through, the banker bid, but also through the crypto native bid, all of ETH DeFi and a lot of tokens from last cycle. Like, I mean, they probably now graduated onto Dino coins. They're not getting bid. So until we get more liquidity present in the market, that's going to remain the case.
All right, guys, we're about an hour 25. I think this is it. I think this is where we call it. Great discussion today, though. Tommy, you want to take us out, bro?
Yeah, for sure. I just had my stimmy, so I'm always a little bit like jittery for the exit. But I'll still give the spiel, guys, maybe a little bit more energetically than usual. But we appreciate you guys so much for being here. As always, we had some very passionate discussion today, but I felt like it was some very useful discussion. Honestly, we put a lot of alpha into this show. So if you haven't hit the like button already, make sure to do that on the way out if you want to support the channel. And to further highlight that, I mean, I'm going to shout out you guys, the audience, because without you guys, you know, this channel's been growing parabolically. I mean, we're over 15,000 subs on YouTube. When I checked earlier this week, it might be closer to 16 today, but that's in no small part to you guys showing up here every single day, just like we do. So we hope that you guys not just, you know, hit the like button, but also enjoy the content and continue to come back for more. If you are new, or if you're a regular and you want maybe more content from the team, we did just release the BB Academy. You can get educational material from every single person on the team talking about the markets. And obviously each of our own, you know, unique specialties in kind of viewing that market or viewing the market. So for you, my friend, I give special price, $199. That is not going to last very long. I mean, the Bitcoin halving was last week. That was really a promotion that we ran for the Bitcoin halving. So you are running out of time for the special price, my friend. It is going to be jacked up a lot. And I mean, it's not going to be jacked up just to jack it up. It's going to be moved to fair value. We discounted it for you guys because we really like you and because we had the celebratory Bitcoin halving. But like I said, the price will be going up. So if that is something that interests you, make sure to pounce on that while you still can. To touch on our programming before we head out, guys, if you enjoyed Market Check and you're new, maybe you're a regular, you've been here before, but we always do these shows. Start time around 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We run for about an hour and a half. We talk markets, charts, everything in between. I like to FUD ETH, but we have a lot of fun, and we talk, you know, altcoins. Sorry, I got the stimmy still, the carbonation, but yeah, no, we have a lot of fun on these shows. I mean, like yesterday, Will was the audience attack, and
Yesterday.
I mean, you just
Yesterday.
never know.
Every day.
Every day. Yeah, you just
every
never know
day.
what those are going to
Every
bring.
day.
Honestly, like I log in.
Audience, man, he stays in the state of attacking the audience.
I log in to do the show. I never know the direction that it's going to go, guys. We have a lot of fun making this show together, but we also have our flagship show. That's Market Talk with King Wabi. That is a Twitter space. And similar to this show, you never know what you're going to get, right? You could be talking meme coins, you could be talking macro, but they always have some really great guests on. So make sure to check out that as well. The timing may vary, but we always communicate it through our Twitter. So make sure to stay followed and subscribed so you can be notified, not just when we schedule our spaces, but also when we go live. But that was a mouthful. But that's all from me, guys. That's all from us. Y'all have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday, a great rest of your week, and we will see you tomorrow morning. Thanks again.